there, it's Eric Rokich. I'm back again for another installment of our little video training series that are going to help you jump higher and farther. And today, actually what I wanted to do in this video is I wanted to add on a little bit more to what I was talking about in the last video, which was what types of training that you should be doing to jump farther, to jump higher. I missed a few things with that, so I wanted to kind of come back and share those with you. And in the previous video, if you haven't seen it, make sure you go back. It's just some interesting tips about what types of training and things that you should be doing. We covered ideas, talked around body weight training, the types of lifting, basic lifts that you should be doing, and how, if you have a knowledgeable coach, maybe looking into some of the Olympic lifts, things like that, that are helpful. But there was one area that's really important for jumpers, probably more so than any other event in track and field, that they really need to work on, and that is the core. Okay, and when we talk about the core, a lot of people think, okay, we got to do core exercise and think, all right, we got to work on our stomach. Yeah, that's one part of it, but you got to remember, to become not only a good jumper and a better athlete, everything works in different movements, different planes of motion. So everything for track and field athletes and jumpers moves forward, but it doesn't matter. We got to train side to side, we've got to train back. So when it comes to core training, right, you got to work on the front, you've got to work on the side, you've got to work on the back. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do that, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with the exercises that you do. You know, you can do planks and different things like that. Those are easy, but you have to remember that everything you're doing in the front, you've got to balance on the back. So if you're doing a lot of planks, okay, where you're on your front, you got to make sure that you're also working on the back, where you can lift your shoulders and head up off the ground. You can do Supermans with your arms out, things like that. You've got to do a lot of different things. You can do good mornings. There's a lot of different exercises that you can do to work on the back. And then just as important, you have to work on your side. Okay, those are the obliques. All right, so you got to do a lot of different things and a lot of support type of exercises. So we talked about doing planks, right, where you're on your elbow holding yourself up. You can do side planks. Hold yourself up on your side with your elbow. You can do that on both sides. Okay, so you got to make sure you work everything all the way around the body to become strong, because if you have an imbalance, if one part's stronger than the other, it's going to increase your chances not only for injury, but it's also going to keep you from jumping as far and as high as you can. And you guys all know that, especially in the long jump, triple jump, and pole vault, right, at some point you've got to have your legs, got to get your legs up, you got to swing them up and hold them up. If you have a weak core, it's almost impossible to get them into the right position. And that comes from one other area of the core that is probably the most neglected part of the entire area that very few people spend a lot of time on, and that is the hips. The hips are what connect our lower half with our upper half of our body. And those are some of the strongest muscles that we have in our body. But for some reason, we don't really focus on training them. I don't understand why. But if you work on really developing the power through the hips, that's going to generate everything through the rest of your body, because it connects the top part of your body with the lower part of your body. So you really have to focus on hip exercises, okay? And mobility exercises when it comes to that too, which means you got to have a good range of movement in your hips. You got to be able to move things. It doesn't mean bending down and touching your toes. Okay, that's stretching. What I mean is mobility, in terms of moving and being free and loose to get into those positions. So you want to have strong hips, you want to have mobile hips, you want to have a good core from the front to the side to the back. And if you put that all together, that's going to line you up to be one hell of an athlete to be able to jump farther and higher. And I hope this is a good video, kind of add on an extra tip that'll help you guys kind of add some inches, some feet, some meters to the distances and events and things that you're jumping. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. And if you haven't already gone back, check out theflightfest.com. If you haven't registered yet, make sure you go ahead and do that. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out, contact me. I'll help you out the best that I can. And I look forward to talking to you again soon.